Welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be doing a room from TryHackMe, the Basicmalwarere. We're going to take a first look into reverse engineering and a couple of the tools used for it. Hope you enjoy the video. Okay, here we are at the TryHackMe room, Basicmalwarere. We're just going to go over this. This one's a pretty simple task, even though it is labeled as medium. So if you're not familiar with some of the tools and how to do a few things, I'll show you some of those basics in this. So we come down here, no sneak peek on the flex. Here's the introduction. The gentleman just talks about the room and malware tech blog that he gives credit for with this. And this zip password here, make sure you either grab that or memorize it, because as you can see, each challenge has its own little zip file. So we come over here. This is on the share drive that I set up in my Kelly video. I've got a folder here for VPNs. I've got the VPN file for TryHackMe in there right now. This folder for tools. Anytime I put together a tool for a CTF or for one of these challenges in TryHackMe or something like that, I'll often store them in there so I have a place that I know I can go back and find them. Notes. If I'm researching anything, I'll often put it together in one note collection, usually Cherry Tree, and store them in there. Excuse me. And then we have sites, which is what we'll be using today. THM. There's a folder for the room. I like to organize them like this, especially in the future if I want to make a script or go back and take a look at something and there happened to be a room that cover that topic. I have the resources I got to download, if there were any, stored here so I can just go through and work with them. Makes it a little bit easier. So as you see, I've already got all three files here downloaded for each challenge. I've already got them extracted. Again, don't forget the password. So we're just going to right click and open a terminal here. And one of the first tools I would recommend using, and pretty much any reverse engineering work, is the file command. And we'll just do that so it lists out all three executables at one time. And you can see they're all listed as P32 executables, Intel. That pretty much tells us it's a Windows executable, it's a GUI interface executable, and since we're on Kali, if I click those, it's not going to run. So the next thing to do, we're going to look into the first executable using the string command. Yeah, there's a little preview of the flag. We'll get to that. So strings goes through and looks and tries to find any quote unquote readable, printable text, and we'll print that out to screen for you. Very handy if certain things weren't encoded. It helps to find. Alrighty, and as you can see here, we have a bunch of padding material at the end. A little bit of code in the middle. And here's some stuff that you kind of want to start learning to kind of look for, is library information. Kernel 32, ntdll, user32.dll. You got 3 DLL files. That's screaming Windows right there, especially these particular ones. Memset, memcopy, that just means it's going to be doing some stuff with the memory. And then message box here. That usually means, like, if you were to run this, it would pop up a message box to show some text to the user. We scroll up a bit more. You can see we got a flag here, but you can see there's quite a bit of flags. I think altogether there's a few hundred that they have listed in here. So I'm going to have to dig a little bit deeper to find what we need. So come over here, and we're going to use Ghidra for this. It comes pre-installed in Kali. It's a pretty simple tool to start using. Takes a while to master. We'll close that. So when you first open it, down here where I've got some folders, you're not going to have anything. So to start a new project, you're first going to have to create it up here. So file, new project. And I typically just do non-shared because I don't have anybody to share it with. And then here, set up your home directory. and then give the project name. You'll click finish, and it's good to go. And then if you want to, like this one I've done for TryHackMe, I'll make a folder for each room, and you just do that by right clicking, new folder. There you go. And let me delete string 1 here so I can show you the import process. So we'll grab this from the folder, just drag and drop. Alright, here's the PE32, stuff that we saw like when we ran the file command. This is just going to be the destination folder. You can see THM Basic Malware, and the name of the program. And I typically leave that alone so that way I know what it's referring to. And it takes it just a minute to import some more basic information about the program. Alright, so we'll just double click on this. And when you open something for the first time, you're going to get this analysis box popped up. Always, click yes. That's what you want. You want the tool to go through, see what it can find, break it down for you so it's a lot easier to find things. I pretty much just leave it on default here. There's a few that you can add, but the defaults tend to take care of everything that I've ever needed. Alright, and as you can see this little black bar here, that just increased. That was just the program going through the script, trying to find what it needed. Alright, so the first thing we're going to look at is over here in the symbol tree, and it's going to be the functions. Now as you can see, we've got 3 of them here: entry, some random name one, and then MD5 hash. Normally I would look for an entry called main first, because if you've ever done programming, especially C++ programming or anything like that, you know, you have to have the main declaration, and then you put the start of your code there and everything. So in this one, instead of being main, it's entry. Same concept. So we'll click on it. As you can see here, you'll see this wherever a new function begins. And then over here in the decompile window is what we want to look at. We see void entry void, so that's normally going to be like your int main, int entry in this case. That's what that is, decompiled. And here we see it's setting up a variable of the character type, and here's where it is assigning a MD5 hash to the variable, and it's passing the flag to the MD5 hash function. So we can see the flag is, can I make it any more obvi? Well, the rest of it's not there. We can hover over it. Yeah, it's not in that either. And there you go. You can see all the other flags that were in the hidden. And yep, there's the message box I mentioned. It'll pop up and it'll show the hash text and it'll say we've been compromised. So since we now know what the first word of the flag is, we can go back over to terminal and we can just do strings again. This time we'll throw the grep and that flag, open bracket, can, and there you go. There's your first flag. So all you do is just copy that, come over here, paste it, you got your first challenge done. Alright, we'll close this. Make sure to save every time. And let's take a look at the second executable with strings. I want to show you how different this one is. As you see, we don't have that long list of padding at the end. And we don't have all the flags. And right here, we see the same set of libraries we did in the other one. So, let's go back over to Ghidra and open this up. This one will take a little bit more of a dive. And since I've already done this one, it's already been analyzed. We'll go to functions. There's entry again. And oh boy. Well, we see character type variable. Then a bunch of undefined variables. And here we go. Whoops, jumped on me there. We see the first one has an F, and then the rest of them are in hex code. Yeah, so this, you'll come across stuff like this sometimes in challenges, and it's no big deal. The easiest way I found to deal with this is just to copy or highlight it, and copy, and come to CyberChef. Yep, I've already got it in here. I forgot I already posted it in here. And you just copy paste it in here. Delete all the extra stuff until you just have the hex. You don't have to worry about the trailing semicolon here. And just type in from hex over here, drag and drop. And once you've got all this set up and got this over here, boom, it prints it out for you. So you can just take that, challenge 2, put your F in, paste, and you got your second flag. And if you've never used CyberChef before, I will leave a link to it in the description. I highly, highly recommend going to it and bookmarking it. It is a awesome tool to have, not just for CTFs and reverse engineering or stuff like that, but it's got a lot of amazing features that come in handy more times than you realize. It's kind of funny. Alrighty, let's go ahead and we'll close string 2. And just for giggles, let's take a look at string 3. As you can see, pretty much the same as 2. Some assembly padding of sorts there. Oh, that's closed assembly, my bad. So we got some padding here, same stuff. The libraries, if you take a look, we've got one additional one, load string. So load string will typically mean that it's going somewhere and grabbing a string text and pulling it into the main program. Most of the time when I say it, that's typically how it's being used. And nothing up here to really help us out. So let's go take a look at this one. Alrighty, here we go. So we'll come over here to functions, and we only have one this time. And yeah, this is nice. We're not going to have a bunch of variables, but we can see. I wanted to show you this. So you see local 8, C, 9C, and all this. If you look through here, right here they are. That's kind of nice to give you a heads up how many variables you're going to have in a function. So we got several, like I said, several variables here being declared. We got one that's size is 1027, a 144 for an MD5 hash, and looks like we're setting something in memory. Find resource, RCR, that's interesting. And here we are, load string. This is going to be the interesting part. So nothing jumps out right now about it, but if we have a look in the main window here, here's where you see we have these D words here, and we got some of them that are accessing the DLLs. Well, this is the interesting thing. Let's take a look at this one. And nope, nothing jumps out right there, but you can see it is connected to that load string function there. So it is reaching in to pull something. You see kernel was up here for that find resource. So what's this load string going for? Well, there is a nice little feature that sometimes you get these little, I call them comments, and if you hover over them just right, and like I was doing, we get the little box, and you can see it. You can see we've got our flag there. So you can write this down or memorize it. So what's basically happening here is the flag is stored in the user 32.dll. And what load string is doing is this going in there and looking for that string and pulling it out. And in case you weren't aware, when you compile an executable, basically it takes not only your code, but it takes all the libraries that's needed with it and basically bundles it up into, well, a suitcase. That's really all an exe file is basically a suitcase. So we'll take that, come over to challenge 3, pop it in, and there you go, that's completed. So that was it for the room. A few things I'm going to leave in the description, links for you, is first one is this to a Medium article. Sorry, I was reading it myself. Level up your reverse engineering skills by Max. I'm not even going to try to say his last name. This one's a pretty good article talking about what is reverse engineering, its purpose, and stuff like that. Now, he does it from the perspective of a web reverse engineering, because he does talk about Java and DOMs in here, if you're familiar with those. But the concepts are still the same. I mean, reverse engineering is reverse engineering no matter what field you're applying it in. It's just the tools you're using, what you're looking for. But it's a really good read. I liked it, and I do recommend it. And over here, if you have access to Udemy, I would highly recommend looking at this course. This one is by Paul Chin. If you come here and it's not on sale, usually wait a week, it will be. Or I would highly recommend getting the personal plan, because there are a lot of great courses on Udemy. So if you can afford the personal plan, monthly fee of $16.58, it's basically $17 a month, I would really recommend that, because they have a lot of good stuff here, even for cybersecurity, believe it or not. But this one, he goes over, as you can see right here, a bunch of different things. Memory analysis is definitely something I want to dive more into. Like I said, I would definitely recommend his course. And this is a gentleman on YouTube, Low Level Learning. I love his content. And he does have this video right here. Everything is open source if you can reverse engineer. It's a good video. I really enjoyed it. And if you're curious about reverse engineering, want to see if it might take your fancy, I would say between the article and his video here, you should know whether or not you're interested in it. And it seems like something you want to do. But he has a lot of great videos, and he does know assembly code. I think he has, if I remember, he has a few videos talking about how to learn assembly code. And he does use it in his stuff a lot, but he talks you through what's happening and what the code's doing. So that's one reason I really appreciate him. Alrighty, well that's it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, I left those links in the description. Definitely give the article a read, check out his YouTube channel, and I hope to see you back here next week.